Even more famous than the ballad Lord Rendell is the ballad of Barbara Allen. Over 100 different versions of this dramatic story have been collected here and in the British Isles. In Scarlet Town, where I was born, there was a fair maid dwellin', made every youth cry well-a-day, and her name was Barbary Allen. 'Twas in the merry, merry month of May, when green buds they were swellin', sweet William on his deathbed lay, for the sake of Barbary Allen. He sent his servant to the town, to the place where she was dwellin', cried, "Master, bid you come to him, if your name be Barbary Allen." Then slowly, slowly she got up, and slowly went she nigh him, and when she pulled the curtains back, said, "Young man, I think you're dying." "Oh yes, I'm sick, I'm very sick, and I never will be better until I have the love of one, the love of Barbary Allen." "Oh, can you not in yonder town, in the place where you were dwelling, you gave a toast to the ladies all, but you slighted Barbary Allen?" "Oh yes, I can it well, in the place where I was dwelling, I gave a toast to the ladies all, but my love to Barbary Allen." Then lightly tripped she down the stairs, he trembled like an aspen. "'Tis vain, my dear young man, to hone for Barbary Allen. She walked out in the green, green fields, she heard the death bell knellin', and every stroke they seemed to say, hard-hearted Barbary Allen. Her eyes looked east, her eyes looked west, she saw his pale corpse comin'. She cried, "Bearers, put him down, that I may look upon him." The more she looked, the more she grieved, until she burst out crying, cried, "Bearers, bearers, take him off, for now I am a-dying. Oh Father, go dig my grave, go dig it deep and narrow. Sweet William died for me today, I'll die for him tomorrow." They buried her in the old churchyard, sweet William's grave was near her, and from his heart grew a red, red rose, and from her heart a briar. They grew and they grew o'er the old church wall, till they couldn't grow no higher, until they tied a true love's knot, the red rose and the briar. Folk songs and ballads are realistic if they're anything, and they often include all kinds of murders and other horrible things, violence of all kinds, because unfortunately violence reflects life, as it sometimes is. Stabbings, one form of violence, occur frequently in balladry. There was a little girl once named Pretty Polly, and she had the misfortune to be stabbed by her sailor sweetheart. This is one of the most famous tunes in all of American folk songs, Pretty Polly. I courted Pretty Polly the livelong night. I courted Pretty Polly the livelong night. Then left her next morning before it was light. Pretty Polly, come go along with me. Pretty Polly, come go along with me. Before we get married, some pleasures for to see.
She jumped on behind him and away they did go. She jumped on behind him and away they did go. Over the hills and the valley below.
They went a little further, and what did they spy? They went a little further, and what did they spy? A new dug grave with a spade lying by.
Oh Willie, I'm afraid of your way. Oh Willie, I'm afraid of your way. I'm afraid you will lead my poor body astray.
Pretty Polly, you guessed about right. Pretty Polly, you guessed about right. For I slept on your grave the best part of last night. He throwed her on the ground and she broke into tears. He throwed her on the ground and she broke into tears. She throwed her arms around him and trembled with fear. There's no time to talk now, there's no time to stand. There's no time to talk now, there's no time to stand. He drew out his knife, all in his right hand. He stabbed her in the heart, and the blood it did flow. He stabbed her in the heart, and the blood it did flow. And into the grave Pretty Polly did go. He put on a little dirt, and he started for home. He put on a little dirt, and he started for home, leaving no one behind but the wild birds to moan. A debt to the devil Willie must pay. A debt to the devil Willie must pay, for killing Pretty Polly and running away. As in many comic songs, the original, as in the next song, was not only a sad song, but based on a supposed true event. In this case, the death by snakebite of a man called Timothy Myrick, 22 years of age, in Farmington, Massachusetts, in the year 1761. The first melody used was the hymn tune Old Hundred. This tune, which I'm going to sing, with the title changed to Springfield Mountain, was inserted around 1840 and used to be sung as a kind of music hall song. On Springfield Mountain there did dwell a lovely youth, I knowed him well, I yell. To Rudy nay, to Rudy new, to Rudy nay, to Rudy new. He scarce had mowed half round the field when an ugly serpent bit his heel, I yield. To Rudy nay, to Rudy new, Toorooty-nay, toorooty-noo. They took him home to Molly dear, which made her feel so very queer, I hear. Toorooty-nay, toorooty-noo, toorooty-nay, toorooty-noo. Now Molly had two ruby lips, with which the pizen she did sip by yip. Toorooty-nay, toorooty-noo, toorooty-nay, toorooty-noo. Now Molly had a rotten tooth, and so the pizen killed them both, I oath. Toorooty-nay, toorooty-noo, toorooty-nay, toorooty-noo. The song Paper of Pins is an American version of a British prototype song. We have numerous examples of imports from the British Isles, as I said before, which went through the sea change that accents and songs often do. Paper of Pins is a courtship song. It isn't difficult to imagine many a family in colony days enjoying it. I'll give to you a paper of pins, and that's the way our love begins. If you will marry me, if you will marry me.
I'll not accept a paper of pins if that's the way that love begins. And I won't marry you, and I won't marry you.
I'll give to you a little dog to carry with you when you go abroad. If you will marry me, if you will marry me.
I'll not accept a little dog to carry with me when I go abroad. And I won't marry you, and I won't marry you.
I'll give to you a house and land, 25 cattle and a hired man. If you will marry me, if you will marry me.
I'll not accept your house and land, 25 cattle and one hired man. Oh, I'll not marry you, I'll not marry you.
I'll give to you a dress of red, stitched all around with the golden thread. If you will marry me, if you will marry me.
I'll not accept your dress of red, stitched all around with the golden thread. And I'll not marry you, and I'll not marry you.
I'll give to you a key to my chest and all the money that I possess. If you will marry me, if you will marry me.
Yes, I'll accept the key to your chest and all the money that you possess. Yes, 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 I'll marry you. Yes, I'll marry you.
Ha, 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 money is all. A woman's love is nothing at all. No, I'll not marry you. No, I'll not marry you. In the 1470s, so the story goes, a true story by the way, there lived a man named Andrew Barton who had 3 sons, the youngest of whom was Henry Martin. How Barton changed to Martin, I don't know, and I don't think anybody else knows. But the fact is that the sea song, Henry Martin, is one of the greatest we have in all of folk literature. There were 3 brothers in merry Scotland. In merry Scotland there were 3, and they did cast lots which of them should go, should go, should go, and turn robber all on the salt sea. The lot it fell first upon Henry Martin, the youngest of all the three, that he should turn robber all on the salt sea, the salt sea, the salt sea, for to maintain his two brothers and he. He had not been sailing but a long winter's night, part of a short winter's day, before he espied a stout lofty ship, lofty ship, lofty ship, come a-riding down on him straight away. Hello, hello, cried Henry Martin, what makes you sail so nigh? I'm a rich merchant ship bound for fair London town, London town, London town. Will you please for to let me pass by? Oh no, cried Henry Martin, that thing it never could be, for I have turned robber all on the salt sea, the salt sea, the salt sea, for to maintain my two brothers and me. Then lower your topsail and bow down your mizzen, bow yourselves under my lee, or I shall give to you a fast flowing ball, flowing ball, flowing ball, and cast your dear bodies down in the salt sea. With broadside and broadside, and at it they went, for fully 2 hours or 3, till Henry Martin gave to her the death shot, the death shot, the death shot, and straight to the bottom went she. Bad news to old England came, bad news to old London town. There's been a rich vessel and she's cast away, cast away, cast away, and all of her merry men drowned. Many versions of a great sea song called the Golden Vanity have been collected in England and in the United States. The famous English folk song collector, Cecil Sharp, collected no less than 14 versions over here before the First World War. The Golden Vanity is the name of a ship, and the ballad contains all the elements of any simple story: a hero, a villain, and a heroine. The dramatic action takes place in the days of the Spanish Armada. Oh, there was a lofty ship, and she sailed upon the sea, and the name of our ship was the Golden Vanity, and we feared she would be taken by the Spanish enemy, as we sailed upon the lowland, lowland, low, as we sailed upon the lowland sea. Then up spoke our cabin boy, and boldly outspoke he, and he said to our captain, what will you give to me if I swim alongside the Spanish enemy, and I sink her in the lowland, lowland, low, if I sink her in the lowland sea? Oh, I will give you silver, and I will give you gold, and my own fair young daughter your bonny bride shall be, if you swim alongside the Spanish enemy, and you sink her in the lowland, lowland, low, if you sink her in the lowland sea. Then the boy he made him ready, and overboard sprang he, and he swam alongside the Spanish enemy, and with his brace and auger in her side he bore holes 3. And he sank her in the lowland, lowland, low. He sank her in the lowland sea. Then quickly he swam back to the cheering of the crew. But the captain would not heed him, for his promise he did rue. And he scorned his poor entreatings, as boldly he did sue. And he left him in the lowland, lowland, low. He left him in the lowland sea. Then the boy he turned around, and he swam to the port side, and up unto his messmates full bitterly he cried, "Oh, messmates, draw me up, for I'm drifting with the tide, and I'm sinking in the lowland, lowland, low. I'm sinking in the lowland sea." So his messmates drew him up, but on the deck he died, and they stitched him in his hammock, which was so fair and white, and they lowered him overboard, and he drifted with the tide, and he sank into the lowland, lowland, low. He sank into the lowland sea. Blow Ye Winds is an American sea shanty, pure and simple, as the words indicate, about one of our early important industries, whaling, and of the very hard life for an ordinary seaman aboard ship, especially those seamen who were pressed into service against their own wishes. Blow ye winds of the morning. 'Tis advertised in Boston, New York, and Buffalo, 500 brave Americans a whaling for to go, singing, "Blow ye winds in the morning, blow ye winds high-ho, and clear away the running gear, and blow, blow, blow." They send you to New Bedford town, a famous whaling port, and give you to some land sharks there to board and fit you out, singing, "Blow ye winds of the morning, blow ye winds high-ho, and clear away the running gear, and blow, blow, blow." They tell you of the clipper ships are running in and out, and say you'll take 500 sperm before you're 6 months out, singing, "Blow ye winds in the morning, blow ye winds high-ho, and clear away the running gear, and blow, blow, blow." And now we're out to sea, my boys, the wind comes on to blow. One half the watch is sick on deck, and the other half's below, singing, "Blow ye winds in the morning, blow ye winds high-ho, and clear away the running gear, and blow, blow, blow." The skipper's on the quarterdeck, squinting at the sails, when up above the lookout sights a mighty school of whales, singing, "Blow ye winds of the morning, blow ye winds high-ho, and clear away the running gear, and blow, blow, blow." Then lower down the boats, my boys, and after him we'll travel, but if you get too near his fluke, he'll kick you to the devil, singing, "Blow ye winds in the morning, blow ye winds high-ho, and clear away the running gear, and blow, blow, blow." And when we're through and back in port and done with all this sailing, a little glass around we'll pass and curse this blubber whaling, singing, "Blow ye winds in the morning, blow ye winds high-ho, and clear away the running gear, and blow, blow, blow."